Hey guys, how's it going? I'm making this video today as a follow-up video for some of the ones that I had just posted. Now I apologize for the video quality in the other videos. Those videos were actually recorded on cell phone because at the time I didn't have any other device to record on. Now that was all done during the summertime and I was kind of in a hurry to get all of the stuff done before the end of the season. And the reason for that was I had a roof leak and it was causing damage. So I didn't get to really take the video that I wanted to. But now that I have some better camera equipment, we can shoot some better video. So I figured what I'd do is I would do a follow-up video and I'd show you guys what I got done on the RV so far. And I would tell you a little bit about how I did it and where we're going from there. Hey, I want to bring your attention first off to, you can see I've got the ceiling completely in now. And if you look here, I told you guys in the video about the wiring that I was going to put this type of lighting in there. I'll pull one of these guys down. I want you to take a look at it. Now if you look, you can clearly see how it's held up. There's just these little spring type clips that push against the sides of the hull and they hold it up there, and that's all there is to it. It's just an LED light. And then they just push up there and I mean they hold in there pretty good. I mean I honestly don't have any problems with them popping out. And they look pretty good. Now that hole there, that's actually for the air conditioning. I haven't got the vents back up in there, the covers. That's just because I'm going to stain the covers a darker color to match the wood. And so I just think it would look a little bit better. Now, you can see over here, I've still got a mess going on here. And this is because the wood backing that was glued to the fiberglass, it came off. And with it all rotted away basically from the water damage. So what's going to have to happen is I got to pull this window out here, and then I'm going to have to take the seam off down underneath on the outside, and I'm going to have to push the wood. I'm going to have to cut a piece of wood and push it up in behind here and re-adhere it to this fiberglass to repair that. And then I'll be able to put that, insulate and put that wall back. And just take a, I'm going to turn the light on for you guys here. If you take a quick peek down here, you can see I've got the floor cut out, and that's where all the water damage was. And I'm sorry for the mess. I just want to show you what's going on here. But I had to cut all that stuff out. Now that floor will be replaced too. Now I'm going to do a video on all of this stuff because I want to bring you guys along. I want you to see what I've got going on. And honestly, I can tell you that when I went to look for videos on how to replace the ceiling, what to use to replace the ceiling, I couldn't find anything. I found generic stuff where people were doing what everybody else was doing, but man, I honestly wanted to go back with what was kind of there from the factory. And I couldn't find anything. So so I decided, well, I'll make a video to show what I did in order to insulate the ceiling and everything. And, to try and help you guys out. So that's why I'm showing you all this stuff. It's very important to me so I can help you guys, because I know the struggle that I went through in order to find videos and information on how to repair this stuff. And over here, I want to show you this. It's the same deal. If you look, this mess here where all this is, you can see that, where all this wood got rotted off. Now, this wasn't from the roof leak. This is actually the canopy that's on the other side of this, the rollout canopy. It's pulled away from the wall, these rivets have, and it's causing a leak here. And it's still an active leak, but it hasn't really bothered any of this stuff here. So I'm not worried about it at this point. I can't really do anything about it till it warms up. So that's where we're at right now with that. Okay guys, and if you look here, you will see where I put these up onto the seam. Now all this is, it's just what I would consider as 1x stock. It's just pine stock material. Funny enough, most of this stuff is thrown away, or like it's thrown to the side because people who come into the hardware stores to buy it, they don't want it because it's not premium material. And what this particular stock is used for, it's kind of like seconds. And people use it for like furring strips and like building materials behind walls. So not really stuff that you would see in like normal houses and stuff. But the reason for that is there's imperfections. Now, what is the imperfection? If you look here, you're going to see there's bark still on that wood. That's why nobody wants it. Well, guess what? I want it because that actually creates a rustic look in my RV, and that's what I'm going for, is a lodgy, rustic look. So if you look here, you can see that still has bark on it. And that's what we want. We want that because that just adds to the character of the RV. Now, what I did with the beams here is I burnt them. And if you notice, when I burnt them, I actually just burnt the wood so that the grain would show up. I didn't like go all crazy and turn it all black. I just burnt the grain into it. Then I countersank all the screws, and here is the important part, guys. I didn't put the screws directly into this part of the wood. I actually shot the screws between this. So like when I shot the screws in, the screws are actually in between the wood. And the reason I did this is so I would allow for the ceiling to be able to move as we're driving down the road. The ceiling is going to move. Everything in your RV is going to move when you're driving down the road. It needs to flex. If it doesn't flex, you're going to start getting cracking and breaking in places. So you don't want screws that are just going to, you know, pop right back up inside the ceiling, or things that are going to get wallered out and become loose. That's why I left that like that. And I think it really looks good. I mean, in my opinion, I think it looks beautiful. I love this. I think that looks great, and that's what I was going for. That's exactly the look I was going for. And it's got a rustic, lodgy type look, a wear and tear kind of rustic look. That's what I wanted. And so that's what we were going for there. Now, I originally had said, if you look here, I put these button type deals here. Now, I'm not really happy with this, and I don't think I'm going to go with this. What I'm going to do is probably end up taking these down, and I'm going to put a 1-inch stock here, because I'm afraid that over time these are going to wear and they're going to pull through the ceiling. So I'm going to put a stock here, like a 1-inch stock, and it's going to hold this a lot better. So in the end, it's just more of a peace of mind thing. It might do okay with those, but in the end, I'd rather just use what I feel comfortable with, and I don't even worry about it after that. Alright, now what I got going on in the kitchen is we decided that we were going to change all of the hardware on our cabinets. Now if you look, I'll do a close-up here so you guys can see this. We went with a antique oil rubbed bronze fixture. I'll show you the side view here. That's what that looks like. Now the reason I did this is because the old stuff that was in here was like 90s polished brass. And here, let me show you a fixture to show you what they look like. That's actually the same type of finish that was on everything right there. And I'll be honest with you guys, that is hideous. I do not want that in my RV. It might have been cool back in the 90s, and I lived through the 90s and everything, but I love the 90s, but hey guys, that stuff's ugly. I don't want that in my RV, so we got rid of it. And if you look, we changed the hinges out, and you know, and they all match and everything, and it looks more modern, which is it's a very nice look. It adds to the rustic feel, which is what we're going for, and I love it. On the walls here in the kitchen, we went with a stick-up tile. It's very thin. It doesn't weigh anything, because here's the key, guys. You're in an RV. You don't want weight. Your enemy in your RV is weight. So you have to keep in the back of your mind, when you are building or you're renovating the inside of your RV, you want to stay away from building materials that are heavy, because any amount of weight you add to your RV is less things of your personal effects that you can carry. So I want you to think about that right now. So whenever you go to pick up your building materials, you really need to plan and think ahead of what you want to put in here versus the weight. So is it really worth it? And the reason I say that is, look at our floor. Our floor is real tile. That is real tile. And there is actually an added sheet of underlayment on top of the existing floor to lay that tile. So we got a lot of weight there. But I like that tile, so I'm going to keep it. But it adds a lot of weight. So I'm giving an example here. So stay away from things that are heavy. So if you can go with something that's like this, that looks this good. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, this stuff actually impressed me. And the reason I say that is, I mean, it actually is real stone. And I guess the way they make it is they crush it down and then they form it into these panels. And I mean, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, for the price, it's a little pricey, but really, honestly, for the look that you get and the upgrades you get to your kitchen or whatever you want to put it in, it's really worth 100% of the money that you pay for it. You guys have to remember that this is an RV. You have very little square footage. So, and so when you go to buy your products, you're not buying hardly anything as far as product-wise and building material-wise. So what you're spending is very small to what you will enjoy later on. Here we are in my bathroom. Now, we all know that living in an RV, you don't have much as far as it goes in bathrooms, and what I mean by that is that it's very small. So you probably want to try and make this space as comfortable as possible. And what I mean by that is your wall treatments that you're going to do, and just basically getting as much out of that small space as you can to make it feel like a real house. And if you look here, I used a solid vinyl tile. It's a glue up type tile, and I've done construction for years, and normally stuff like this would be considered as a shortcut compared to what you're using, what you would normally use, which is a ceramic tile or something of that sort. But let me tell you guys, this stuff is awesome. I mean, it looks good, and I mean, it's water resistant. You couldn't ask for a better product for a bathroom, and especially in an RV. If you look here, I mean, this stuff even has a joint. It doesn't look cheap. It has a really good feel to it. So, I mean, as far as like a product for your RV that you want to use to upgrade your RV, this was a good product. Here is one of these tiles here. Now, I want to show you this. I'm going to do a close-up here. I'll pan around here. If you look, this is how the tile works. And the backing of it, if you can see that, it's got like a kind of like ribbed feeling to it. That's so whenever you glue it down, that it has something to adhere to and it doesn't just pop off after you glue it down. Now, how these work is, if you look here, you've got this kind of tongue type fitting here, and then down in there you're going to have a groove. And your next piece, if you look at that, you got a small lip there, and that's actually going to be your faux grout line. It's not real, but it looks real, you know. And if you look at the back side of here, you have the opposite type of tongue there. Now, the way this works is you take this and you're going to put it into that fitting there, and it just fits, you know. And that's what you end up with. You have it's a fake grout line. You know, it's not real, but I mean, it looks pretty good and it's water resistant. And that's all that matters. And that's all there is to putting them up, and you just glue them up with an adhesive. Now, I will put the description to all my products that I used in my RV in this video. I'll put it down in the description in case you guys want to use this product or you want to check it out. You will have the links to it down at the bottom. Now the reason I went with this, this is a very important thing. I wanted water resistance in here. This is an RV. Your number one enemy in an RV is water. So the last thing you want is any water going in onto your walls, being absorbed into anything. So I went with this product. It's water resistant and it looks great. I mean, all right, the next thing we're going to come to is going to be the ceiling. Now, I want you guys to take a real good look at this. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. You may not be able to tell by looking at it. That is, when I put this ceiling up, I had to cut it and make it in 4 pieces. And why I had to do that was because, if you look here, I could not remove this cabinet. I could not remove this cabinet or this one. So what that did for me is it created a really big problem because I couldn't put a full sheet of the board up here that I needed to cover the ceiling. So what I ended up having to do was cut my pieces into 4 sections. Now you can't see it up underneath here, but there's a section here, and then it goes right down the center here. Now I had to then, I got to thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because I've got this hideous looking ceiling and I need to cover it up, because obviously I couldn't do what I did in the rest of the rooms and just use the regular wood ceiling at that point. So what I decided to do was go with a ceiling that was textured and had a pattern to it, because what that's going to do is it's going to hide any imperfections in your ceiling. So if you look here, you cannot see that there's actually 4 separate tiles here, that there's 4 separate ceiling panels. And this stuff just glues up. Now I will put in the description the product that I used and the glue that I used. And I mean, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, this stuff is pretty impressive. I mean, it looks really good and it's up there. I mean, it's not coming down. All right, here we are in my bedroom. And in the wiring video, if you remember, I had showed you guys the wiring that I did in here, and I said I was going to only put 4 lights in here, and that's exactly what I did. If you look up here, I'll do a quick pan around to show you the room itself and how the lighting actually looks in here. And the reason I went with this is originally there was a light right here in the center of the room. Well, we didn't need that and it was ugly and I wanted to get rid of it. So we just went with these 4 recessed lights. They only use like 3 watts apiece, so it's not that big of a deal. And that's important when you're going to be boondocking. You don't want to use a lot of electricity, so you want to go with a low wattage light. Those are low wattage and they put a lot of light out. And I don't have the speakers. The speakers will go up in here. I don't have them installed yet. I'm getting ready to get those and cut the holes and install those. And we're going to actually end up painting the walls. We didn't know what we were going to do originally, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to paint the walls, and I'll do a video of that to show you guys how we prime and paint these walls over the top of that hideous vinyl wallpaper. And one more thing I wanted to show you guys. This is actually where our TV is going to go, and right here in the wall I'm going to put a center entertainment center for the bedroom. And I showed you in the wiring video that I had speaker wire up in there, and if you look, here it is hanging down here. I'm going to install speakers here, and then I'm going to install speakers here in the ceiling. And also, here is the lighting that I told you would be in the cabinets. If you ever have to pull your ceiling out for any reason and repair it, I run your wires here, guys. Like right here, if you see this, I ran all my wires. This is all for my stereo that I'm going to install in this wall right here. Run your wires, guys. I mean, if you got the ceiling out, you might as well just run the wires up there. Then they're all in the ceiling. They're hidden. You don't have nothing to worry about. And it just makes life so much easier when you go to put everything back together. Hit the like button if you like my videos. Hit the subscribe button if you want to check out any of the rest of my videos. And I hope to see you guys again. Have a good one.